We're back. A first episode in 5 for talking in 2 years.
Decades.
2 years. I got your boy Caps over here. Me, Detective John Kimball. I'm a cop, you idiot. Uh,
Great intro.
yeah. Okay, so 2020, year of the quarantine, year of Austin Matthews not getting to break all the Leafs records. Let's just start it off. Do you want to talk about anything before we jump into the playoff bracket?
Yeah, you brought something up just now, like the fact that Austin Matthews wasn't able to reach 50 goals this year, and the fact that he was having a career year and he wasn't able to finish off the year. Kind of sucks, you know. I thought he was having a great year, and it just seemed like everything just came to a halt. But at the same time, I have to say that the Leafs were not playing that great as well. So I don't know. It's going to be hard to say how they were going to do or how they will do once the playoffs start up.
Yeah, I don't know. Personally, I know that I'm always the outlier of the three of us when we're doing this. But oh, what the hell? Oh, sorry, I clicked something. Okay, yeah, but I'm not gonna just give in to being a homer. I don't think the Leafs have what it takes to win the cup.
No.
And I know I'm always the one that's that person, but I really believe that. And okay, so the Leafs had 12 games left. Matthews has 80 points, so he wouldn't have broke 127 points, but he would have passed goals for sure. Well, what's the record? Rick Vive, like 53?
54, I believe.
Yeah, he probably would have passed that.
Yeah, because I think he was at 47, 48.
He had 47.
Yeah,
I don't know. To me, this season was an example of how good Austin Matthews is. That's all I got.
He was technically at 80 points, just before the season stopped. He was at 47 goals, 80 points. He was having a career year on a team that, like you said, was not playing that well.
No, I definitely didn't enjoy a lot of this season. Getting rid of Mike Babcock was smart. Did that happen this year? I don't even remember.
It happened at the beginning of this year.
Okay,
yeah.
So yeah, that was a huge thing because I don't even think the other guy's any good. Don't get me wrong, but Mike Babcock was so bad.
Yeah, I think they both have the same reasons as to why this team is not that great. They were trying to work with everyone, but I think when it came down to it, they have a bad work ethic. They were not willing to put in the work.
Okay, that's fair, and I think that nobody has. I don't want to say heart because I always say that. I feel like nobody on this team cares. Like it just feels like nobody cares. Like nobody's dying to play defense. I don't care how anybody says, "Oh, 80s and 90s hockey, nobody played defense, whatever." I don't fucking care. The way that people were willing to die to win a cup that's hockey. Nowadays, like nobody has that. At least not on the Leafs.
Can't argue with that.
The guy that has that we need is Brent Burns, and I'm gonna stick with that. Or like Drew Doughty. Even I know he's not good, and he argues that he's good. He's having a really bad year, but I think PK Subban as a Leaf would turn it around. Yeah, I already see you know. I
don't think he's that good of a player.
I think he is very skilled, and he has the leadership that the Leafs need. This is my argument that I made the other day, okay? I don't think he's that good. I'm not saying he's like the greatest player ever, but I think a chance to play in Toronto, where he's from, and a chance to reclaim his career that has gone off the deep end, there's a chance that he might be willing to take a low contract because New Jersey's going to have to buy him out because no one's trading for that contract. So once he gets bought out, he's starting at zero again. The Leafs can come in, sign him for like $2 million, and he has a chance to prove himself in his hometown. And like I said, I don't give a shit about PK. I'm just trying to find a way out. Pietrangelo is not the answer because he's not coming to Toronto.
Yeah, it was just part of the rumor mill. But when I look at PK Subban, I just don't see this guy taking a $7 million pay cut. I just don't see it. But the fact of the matter is, I don't think PK Subban is the answer. I really don't.
That's fair.
I just don't see it. I mean, to me, when you compare, let's just make a comparison between Pietrangelo and Subban. One has won a cup and one has not. And bringing that kind of experience into a team that has not won a cup may help them in getting over that little hump. So I don't know. I just feel as if I were to pick between the two, regardless of salary cap, if I had to pick between the two, I would go with Pietrangelo.
Yeah, I don't disagree. It's just my thing is Pietrangelo is not taking a pay cut.
I would probably agree with that.
And to me, I think what he brings to your team as a leader and defensively is super important, and he has that skill. But as a general hockey skill, I don't see much in him, and he's pretty aged at this point. I don't see him bringing you anything offensively.
He's 29, John.
Yeah, but look at the way he plays. He's like Jay Bowmeister, where he got, even once he hit his early 30s, he just slowed down like huge. He doesn't have a fast pace of play, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. I just don't see that in him, like, offensively. But I think that everything else he's going to bring you to your team is exactly what you need. I just don't think he's affordable. I'd rather have Drew Doughty.
Oh, if I had to pick between the three, I'd probably go with Drew Doughty as well. The fact of the matter is that even with the prospects that they have coming up, they're just getting smaller, and they are not able to compete with teams like Boston and Tampa because, let's face the facts, they're soft, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they got the skill. We all know that they are. They have a lot of elite skill on that team. But the fact of the matter is, they cannot compete physically with any other team in the league. They need someone elsewhere to come in and show them how to do that. And I'm sorry, when I'm looking at the way Sheldon Keefe was coaching these guys, I just don't see it happening. I really don't.
I agree with that 100%. I don't think he is an upgrade from Babcock. I think he's just an upgrade in the situation. Like, he's the player coach. He's going to work with the players. Babcock, after he got fired from the Leafs, everyone's like, oh, how can you how do you believe all this, that, the other thing? But, like, it's not like one person said something. The amount of credible, legendary players that spoke out about him, Chris Chelios, Pavel Datsyuk, Franzen said shit about him. That Mike Commodore has that 2-hour podcast literally explaining how he ruined his entire life, not just one season of his career. Like, the guy followed him around and destroyed his fucking life.
Yeah, I saw that. I didn't like what he did to Mike Modano at all.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, the fact that he was like a few games away from 1,500 career, and he just benched him for the last how many games of the season, and then he had to retire without hitting that mark. It was not cool at all. Not cool. But I read somewhere towards the end of the season that all the concerns that Mike Babcock had about the team were exactly mirrored by what Sheldon Keefe was saying. I mean, Sheldon Keefe was trying to adjust his coaching style with this Leafs team, but the fact of the matter is that they have the same weakness, and that is that they don't have the physicality at all. They don't have the physicality to compete with teams like Boston. Um, so
Yeah, they can't even seem to figure out, on top of that, just how to play defense. Like at
no,
least if you were non-physically playing defense, I can take a little bit of that. Like I don't need you to be banging everybody out, checking everybody, but the way that they just don't even try to play defense. And
no.
I'm sorry, I might be once again the outlier, but I don't think Morgan Riley is very good. I think he can score goals and play offense, but I don't see any defensive ability in him. At least not to the level that he's going to win a couple for the Leafs.
Um, I kind of disagree with you, but let's face facts. He's not getting any help.
No,
He's not getting any help from anyone on that
that's
team.
true.
I don't think Barry worked out, and I don't see him coming back. Cody CC was probably one of the worst signings I've ever seen. Definitely not worth $4 million a year. And I do hope that they use that money to sign a decent defenseman that will help them compete. But let's face facts: that cap is going to be is going to bite them in the ass in the next couple of years, because Morgan Riley is going to be close to the end of his contract, and Frederick Anderson is going to be he's coming up to his contract year. I believe last year of his contract is next year. So you know for a fact, and I think you'll agree with me, that Frederick Anderson has been the backbone of this team, and he's going to want some serious money.
I do. I actually 100%.
Mm-hmm. And
But
screwed.
I also think that he likes it here, and he's going to be willing to work it out to stay. But he's going to want. He might not want big money, maybe like $1 million more than what he makes, I think. But he's going to want long term. He's going to want like an 8-year contract, and that's something the Leafs have to think about, because the Leafs are known for their stupid long contracts that they give out. That after 2 years, the players are absolutely trash, and you're stuck with them. A la David Clarkson. That's his name, right?
The guy that's on the injury reserve, long-term injury
Jeff
reserve.
O'Neill, Jason Blake, those stupid ass contracts. Like the Leafs are number one for picking up someone else's garbage. I'm not saying Anderson, comparing him to the garbage, but like, and paying them. Okay.
Yeah, well, they needed those contracts to create a more of a cap space to sign some of these other guys. I don't know. They're still paying Phil Kessel for another couple of years, $1.2 million a year.
Fuck him. So okay, so we'll get off this topic in a second, but so if looking at the Leafs roster, okay, Tyson Barrie, I agree with you. He's leaving. He's way too talented to put up with this shit, and he doesn't fit with the Leafs at all. Like he was one of the top defensemen of the last like 5 seasons, and then came into the Leafs and actually absolutely stunk it up. And he doesn't.
Yeah.
I don't think he brings the defense that the Leafs need. But so him aside, so the Leafs needing contract space, you got to get rid of a forward. You got to get rid of a defenseman. Who are you getting rid of? Because no one's taking CC, so don't even fucking tell me CC.
Yeah, but CC's contract is done. He was only signed for 1 year anyway.
Okay, so that's fine. So you can't pick.
God.
You got to trash somebody.
Before this season started, I would have said Kapanen. But I have to say, like, as the season progressed, Janssen did not live up to that contract at all. So I would honestly get rid of Andreas Janssen to create some cap space. And what was the other question? Which defenseman?
Yeah.
Um, hmm. Um, I'm looking at their roster right now, and I'm always going to say Merchant, but you can just slap him into the minor leagues anyway. Um, who else is there? I mean, everybody else, with the exception of Muzzin and Riley, have pretty small contracts. I would never get rid of Muzzin.
Yeah,
There's
I
no
don't think
way.
so. He's
There's no
the
way.
only defensive defenseman we have on the whole fucking team.
Yeah. If I had to, okay, so Barry and Cece would be gone right now.
Hmm.
So um, I don't need to get rid of them. And that opens up about what, $7 million, or no?
But with what the kind of roles they need to fill, that's only getting you one player.
Hey, it helps. Um, but if I had to look at it, probably Travis Dermott, because I don't think he played that well this season, and
I don't think he played great at the end of last year either.
yeah, it was. I think he hasn't really recovered from his injuries, but
No.
um, yeah, when you look at it, the Leafs don't have a lot to work with, and it's just their forwards that you can actually look at to actually trade and get someone decent in return.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Defensively, I don't know. I probably would definitely. Dermott is probably close. Um, I know he's not going to free you up any salary cap, and everyone's argued with me about this lately. I think if you trade Liljegren in a package, because I'm not saying he's bad or anything, but he's not progressing as fast as the other guy,
Sandin?
Sandin. And I think he has so much potential that if you package him now and you bring in somebody big, that might help. But I know you need to free up cap. So with the cap space, personally, I don't think Marner lived up to his contract at all. I think he's the most overpaid player in the NHL right now, and it's not because he's bad. He's just not as good as his contract. Um, but I also feel the same way about John Tavares. As soon as you separated Marner and Tavares, Tavares produced absolutely zero, zero. He can't. He's not a. Austin Matthews can create on his own. Austin Matthews doesn't need a playmaker to play with him. If you don't have someone to make plays with Tavares, he's not doing shit. And as much as I want to say Nylander, he's totally living up to what he got paid. Like he's actually playing really well. Him and Matthews together is really nice. I think
But they didn't play together this year.
They did a little bit. They did a little bit, and
Hmm.
they were good. I don't care. Just keep it down, all right? Tavares goes. Fucking Tavares goes.
Yeah, in about 5 years, that William Nylander contract is going to be very cap friendly, team friendly, actually.
He
Um,
he can score goals. You just need him to play with somebody that's going to help him score goals.
mm,
Where Tavares is the same situation, but add $5 million. So you got to pick which one you're going to keep, right? And I don't think the Leafs right now have depth through every line, and I don't think that's what you need anymore in the NHL. You need like a solid goal scoring player on every line, and then grit for three lines, and one line that's just batshit crazy. Like if you see how the teams are playing it, like Washington, when they need to win, they put all their best players out there at the same time on one line. Pittsburgh's doing the same thing. It's no like 2 years ago, it was you needed three lines of amazing talent. But now it's like if you just keep pounding people with that one line, there's nothing you could do. Every goal you score, you're up a goal. As long as the other lines don't let in any goals, that doesn't matter.
I believe that Pittsburgh was an exception because um, they had the depth to win. I mean, you have Sidney Crosby on one line, but then you have uh, oh wow,
Malkin?
Malkin. Thank you. The quarantine is getting to me. Um, you have Malkin on the second line, and you have that those two lines hammering all the teams out there. So they have the depth. Even Washington had depth as well. I honestly believe that depth wins championships. I don't know. I think we, we would possibly disagree on that one.
I'm not saying you don't need depth. I'm saying you don't need 3 lines of offense anymore. You need one extremely powerhouse offense line and then just solid playing other lines. If you remember Detroit, that's like my example. Like they weren't all star power. It was a nice spread out ability to play both ends of the ice, and then the first line was goal scoring. And you can have one goal scorer on every line. I'm not saying don't, but the Leafs are set up to have 3 goal scorers, 3 goal scorers, 3 goal scorers on the top 3 lines, and nobody's fucking playing defense. None of them. And I think what they've done now is better. I like Engvall. I like those other idiots that we always talk about. I can't think of any of their names right now.
You can't say idiots.
All these idiots. I think Kapanen has bought into the system, which I agree with you. He's playing more like a Hyman than he used to.
Yeah, I just got to get him to finish. That's all.
Hyman doesn't play like Hyman anymore. I don't know if you noticed that. He thinks that he's a goal scorer now, and he's always looking to score. And I don't like
that. He's progressing. I mean, if he can help offensively, then why not?
But I need him to realize that his job is to give Austin Matthews the puck and get out of the way.
He's not on Austin Matthews' line.
When did they change the lines?
This year.
No, he's been on Austin Matthews' line.
No, he's not. He's been on.
Do you guys hear this? Are you guys listening?
What did they say?
They don't like you.
He's been on Tavares' line. What are you talking about?
No, the lines have changed, man. You're telling me at no point he played with Austin Matthews?
I know he's played with Austin Matthews before. I'm just saying, like, he'll go back and forth between those two. Well,
so who do you put on Who do you put on Tavares' line to make it work?
I would put Tavares with Marner. I mean, it was working last year. I would put them back together again. I'm not sure why they separated those two. And I would put Nylander back with Matthews.
Yeah,
you know,
I can't even.
Those are 1-2 punch, man. Like, I'm not sure why, because when I'm looking, when I was watching a lot of the games this year, I just kept seeing different people playing with Tavares. And how is Tavares supposed to settle in and actually be the player that he's supposed to be if he has different line rates almost every other game? They had that guy that they got from Florida, Malgin.
Yeah.
Playing with him and playing with Tavares and Nylander, and is working for a little bit. And I'm not sure why that guy got demoted, because he's pretty similar to Hyman's style.
With more skill, I agree.
Yeah, with a little more skill.
And he played with Austin Matthews in Switzerland.
Yeah. Like, I thought he was coming in because he was going to play with Austin Matthews, and Hyman was going to go back to Tavares.
I 100% thought that was the only reason that deal happened.
Yeah. But I mean, this goes to show that sometimes the coach has other ideas in mind. But if I were the coach, I would definitely bring those guys back. Make that your first line. You got Tavares, you got Hyman, and you got Marner, and that brought you success last year. And I would put Nylander back with Matthews, and I would bring this guy Malgin, who has played with Matthews, because that's already half the battle. He just has to learn how to play with Nylander, and after that, I mean, that should bring that back up to speed pretty quick. And there's your 1-2 punch. And then the other two lines, they'll just work it out, whatever they need to work out. But I don't know. I just feel they need to address their defensive weakness. They are so weak on defense, and even the guys